Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Talking about the sacral chakra, I have a song playing in the background. I'm going to go through some of its lyrics, especially the chorus, because it talks a lot about releasing, shedding, especially anxiety. Okay, yeah, if you can listen to it. Hold on.
To the will of the divine. No more stories of the past. I am shedding skins at last, and I realize I'm already in heaven. The moment I stop running from the demons in my head, and instead I choose to love them. When saying yes to life, both shadow and light, my suffering is done and I come alive.
Okay, yeah, that's really the part I wanted to express to you. As you can see, the way that the content is coming out for this chakra is very different to the root. It's coming through in song and in this paragraph that I was called to share with you. Just give me a second.
And the moment I stop running from the demons in my head, and instead I choose to love them. When saying yes to life, both shadow and light, my suffering is done and I come alive.
Okay, so we've heard it twice now. So she's saying, when saying yes to life, both shadow and light, my suffering is done and I come alive. So she's talking a lot about how suffering exists either in the past or the future. So if we are really present and we're tapping into all that life has to offer us, it's much easier to live life from that space. And she says, my suffering is done. Because how often do we suffer because of something that's happened to us in the past or hasn't happened to us? But what she's tapping into here is she's saying, if you are present, if you are really truly present with where you are, what you have around you, whatever it is there to do within that moment, within that hour, within that day, within that year, if you are present and you are tapping into that and into that vision that you see for yourself and you're guiding yourself along that road, you can't go wrong. It's only when we turn back around at what we have, and we do this a lot in a transition period, because when we are transitioning from one thing to the next, there is that period of uncertainty where we haven't yet stepped into anything, which brings us this feeling of uncertainty. And the only way that sometimes we can navigate that is by holding on to something that's already gone, either a situation, a relationship, a way of life. It's either by holding on to those things or holding on to the attachment to those things, holding on to the way that you used to think when you are already a different person. So the practice of the sacral chakra is, can I forgive? Can I let go? And can I be so in love with myself and in love with life that I'm showing up fully for exactly what it's trying to teach me and show me in this moment? Or am I trying to speed ahead? Can I be truly present? And I want you to take a moment now to reflect on it, because it's easy to be present when things are as they're expected, when things are going good. But if you can be patient and if you can be present in the liminal phase where things haven't emerged yet, you are going to make sure that you keep moving forward rather than falling back into patterns of the past, because this feminine energy is about rebirth and release, and we try to hold on to something that isn't anyway ours in this present moment. It's like holding on to garbage from months or years ago, which was a totally different story. And you'll notice the people that are stuck in the past, and I'm not an exception, that they'll continuously be reliving things that have happened, or thinking this happened, and because that happened, I'm justified towards feeling bad. We do this a lot, but sometimes what we have is just a feeling of uncertainty, and we put these labels onto it so we can make sense of it. But what's actually happening is we're just feeling uncertainty, we're just feeling newness, we're feeling the emotions that come with a transition. And instead of trying to hide away or shut them down, can you just be present with them? I'm going to put the song back on.
I want to feel it all. I wear my heart on my sleeve, saying, here I am, can you see me? Oh, I am beautiful and fucked up in the most glorious way. When standing in my truth, who cares what people say?
So she's talking about standing in your truth. If you are standing in your truth and you're doing the things that are right for you, then does it really matter? Does any of those things in the past matter? What else did she say? She says, I want to feel it all. And this is such a trait of feminine energy. Feminine energy is driven and it's enlivened through feeling and experience and emotion. So the more that feminine energy feels, the more present it is. So feminine energy looks for what is next for me, like what is there for me to lean into, to tap into, to birth. So you cannot be in two places at once. So if you are focusing on creating your new future in the emotions, with the people, with the situations, you're putting your energy into these things, then by default, you're not going to have the energy to reminisce or to ruminate. So that anxiety comes up to tell us, hey, you are focused on the wrong things. You need to get back on track. This is where you really are. Do something about it. So these are the times when we do need to pay attention to that anxiety, and it doesn't need to be this major earthquake. It can just be like a click. Okay, I remember. Okay, back on track, back on who I am, back on honoring my soul, back on creating fulfilling relationships, because we get so stagnant sometimes. We get so stagnant because we're just used to it. We're used to doing things in a certain way. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be like that. And remember, we talked about in the root chakra about blooming where you're planted and growing outwards, yeah? So we're embodying those principles of the first chakra. And now that we're never going to stop doing that, but we're also going to bring in this level of surrender, dance, and play of trying new things, shifting your energy. We're going to talk about energy tools to shift things, because that is so true of the sacral. The sacral is free flowing, but we also want to have the tools to shift it through. So through dance, through expression, creativity, through generousness, you will start to feel a little bit more of this fulfilling energy envelope you, okay? And we're almost coming into the solar plexus, because that is our center of true transformation through action. So before we get to that, we have to embody these divine qualities of this physical energy of the root chakra, of sturdiness, of strength, of this is who I am, you know? And then we come into our sacral of generosity, of saying, being gratitude, you know, thank you, expressing. And this is this beautiful dance that is happening, which are already parts within you, your soul, but we're just quantifying them and giving it words. So take some time to listen to that song, and what I want you to do is release the past. I'm going to talk about a way that I do it. I have this jar here that I use whenever I have whenever I'm having a moment where I'm having a lot of negative thoughts. What I do is I will, on pieces of paper, write out the emotions that I'm feeling. For example, I'm feeling angry today, I'm feeling mistrustful, or this happened, or I'm so scared that this might happen, or what if this happened. So whatever thoughts, until I finish up with my anxiety, I will write it on a piece of paper, rip it up, fold it, and I put it in here. And I do that until the negative emotion has dissipated. And you can offer this up. I offer this up to the universe, to something higher than me, or to Mother Mary, because she is a figure of unconditional love and she has the capacity to hold these emotions and transmute them. But whatever you believe in, or even just make it a jar, you can put all those things in. And I always feel by the end of my little dump different to when I'm journaling, because when I'm journaling I'm going a bit deeper. These are just things I need to let go, that I know don't serve me, that aren't right for me, but I can't stop thinking them. So I'll write them on a piece of paper, fold it all up, and put it in here. And it works so well for me. Like, the reason I do this is I don't want to have a negative thought more than once. A thought that doesn't serve me, a thought that has no purpose behind it, that won't actually get me anywhere. For example, things that have happened in the past that I can't do anything about. So that's the premise behind this. And it's going to be different to journaling. So this is one tool. Another tool that is beneficial for me in heightened states of anxiety is EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping. You can find a lot of videos online. You can also book in a session with me if you want to use the emotional freedom technique. But I also find that when we use the emotional freedom technique a lot, it's happening because there's some underlying parts of your life that need to shift but haven't shifted. So if you feel called to do the deeper work around your anxiety, then I recommend you reach out either to me or a healthcare professional. So again, EFT, meditation, those tools can definitely help in the moment. But I find this a good tool because it's just, all it says is, this thought doesn't need to live rent-free in my mind. I've already diagnosed it. I've already analyzed it as being unhelpful to me. So I just need to put it in here, and every time I do that, I feel lighter. And I walk away feeling much lighter. So just wanted to share those with you in terms of keeping your vibration high in your sacral. And some days you will have to put in a little bit of effort to maintain your high vibration, but you will get there. A lot of us that experience anxiety spend so much time trying to fix anxiety that we're not actually creating in the limits that we are supposed to. We're not creating as much, we're not expressing as much, we're not being as much bold and beautiful as we can, and that puts a drain on our soul as well. So it's a beautiful balance, especially for empaths, people that take on a lot of energy. We feel like we need to disconnect. Sometimes we need to, especially when we're going through bad times, when I feel we need to disconnect, and that's totally fine. But it's about having that balance between that inner structure is there, yes, but am I also experimenting and playing with the world? Am I creating? Because if either one of those two things are gone, you're gone. You cannot sustain your energy in just one of those ways. So I hope that really makes a lot of sense. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.